With that, we welcome you into the Princeton post-game press conference. Thank you for staying with us here. This is head coach Carla Barumi. We are joined by Fatima Tall and Parker Hill. They're student athletes as well. And just a reminder, if you weren't here earlier, to silence your phones. Please provide your name and media affiliation before a question. Hit the raise your hand function if you're on Zoom. We'll get to you after the questions in person. Photographs are okay, no flash photography, and then no recordings with your phone or camera. And with that, Coach, ready for you for an opening statement.
Yeah, congratulations to Iowa State on a great game, great win. I thought that they, that third quarter was tough. They came out at halftime and really, took it to us, and then they kind of sustained that through the rest of the game. Really proud of my team and my student athletes and my staff for an incredible season. Making it to the NCAA tournament is quite a feat in any year, and definitely in a year where we were young. We had lost 4 starters from last year, but I thought Parker was in her class were amazing leaders, and helped sort of this young team along and playing some really great basketball. We're certainly upset and sad that we're not moving on, but it was a great season nonetheless.
Okay, we'll open things up to questions first for our student athletes.
Hope Perry from the Princeton Alumni Weekly. Fatima, especially in the first half, you had a really impressive defensive performance, making some steals, some blocks that were really key. Can you just talk a little bit about what was going through your mind as you were trying to get after it there?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of just like wanting to win for your seniors and for your team. I think just having that encouragement, that energy from everyone around you, just like the little stuff we always harp about in practice. So doing that was like second nature and what we wanted to do the entire game.
Hi, it's still Hope from Princeton Alumni Weekly. Parker, I noticed in the second half you stayed in, I think, almost the entire time. I don't think you were subbed at all, and I noticed you were getting kind of frustrated. Can you talk a little bit about what was going on offense? It looked like some of the screens weren't really going your way.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I don't think the time had anything to do with that. It was more just, they were very aggressive, so I think we needed to use screens a little bit better. Some of our passes were a little tricky to go and get, especially when there's such a strong post presence inside for Iowa State. So yeah, that was a part of it a little bit. But yeah, I don't think the time had anything to do with that. Yeah.
Max Hines, Daily Princetonian. Parker, Audie Crooks is a type of player that you don't see in the Ivy League. Can you talk about what went into preparation for this game and then how you adjusted seeing her in person?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you're right. We don't see players like Audie Crooks in the Ivy League, and that was definitely an adjustment. I mean, she obviously played a very great game today. Definitely, we were working on like being strong and trying not to foul because she does get a lot of like and one. So trying to play straight up as much as possible and not stay in foul trouble. So that was definitely something that I think I managed to do pretty well. But yeah, just limiting her second chance opportunities. Trying to make shots as hard as possible, but she's a very good scorer and a very good finisher, so yeah.
We'll toss it over to Zoom for a question from Jen Hatfield.
Hey, Fatima, hey, Parker. Jenna Hatfield with The Next. Thank you guys, first of all, for your time all year. I got 2 questions for you. Fatima, starting with you, what's going to kind of stick with you from this loss, or what do you want to take from it, whether it's like a lesson going forward or just a feeling you want to use to drive you?
I think losing is never something that I want to do ever again, so that's always a good motive to help with next year. And like just like the unfulfillment of not being able to carry your seniors or take them with you to like a stage that they belong on is going to sting for a while.
And then just for both of you guys, some really up and down, like back and forth quarters in the game. You had that second quarter, they had the third. How did you guys regroup after that first quarter where you were down by, I think it was 8, and then again after the third quarter?
Sure, I can start with that one if you want. Yeah, I mean, I think the first quarter we took some shots that just didn't fall, and they weren't bad shots for us, but I think there was definitely an emphasis on making sure we're taking the best shot we can get in the second quarter. And then they fell a lot better because we were more patient and, getting each other open more. But yeah, no, I think we dialed it back a little bit in terms of how much we were rushing and just we're trying to set each other up better.
Hope from the Princeton Alumni Weekly. Parker, you're a senior. Can you just talk about what it's meant to you to play for Princeton these past 4 years?
Wow. Yeah, it's a little tricky to explain how much it's meant to me, but I've loved the time that I've been here. It always sucks to end your season and end on a loss, and I think this game it was winnable for us, which stings a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, this program means a lot to me. I couldn't be happier with where I ended up, and I mean, I look forward to seeing what the rest of them do next year and the year after that.
Any other questions for our student athletes? Okay, thank you, Fadima. Thank you, Parker, for joining us. Next, we'll open it up to questions for Coach Berube.
Hi, Coach. Hope from the Princeton Alumni Weekly. I wanted to start off with a question about that first quarter. Ashley came out super strong, scored right on that first possession, and then you guys were really juiced. But all of a sudden, Iowa State came roaring back. Can you talk a little bit about the thought process? Was there a consideration of maybe calling a timeout, maybe not? Just because, then the second quarter went so differently. So I'm curious what that looked like.
Yeah. I think just like any, big game on this kind of stage, you're going to have some first quarter jitters, and, you just need to take a deep breath, and, the timeouts media timeouts are long, and it's a good time to just kind of regroup. And I thought we were fine being able to do that. And I thought they did a really great job of, just coming out in that second quarter and just being a little bit more patient with our offense and getting to the looks that we want. And, this game is so much about making shots, right? I think, we had some good looks in the first quarter, didn't knock them down, and then the second quarter we did, and sort of the vice versa happened with Iowa State in the third quarter. So it was a tough quarter. I thought there was just a few breakdowns, especially in transition, where they got some easy looks from the three, but needed to call a timeout in that quarter. But yeah, they know how to huddle and regroup, and I thought they did a good job with that.
Max Hines, Daily Princetonian. Can you talk through your decision when you called timeout midway through the third quarter to switch up personnel, bringing in Katie and Taylor? And had you considered any other personnel switches throughout the second half?
Yeah, I think that we were a little gassed, so we needed some help from our bench. Yeah, maybe needed to do that a little bit more today. It was, a lot of up and down. So I think, we were running really hard, and, but yeah, just, personnel decisions kind of go on how you're feeling and how they're feeling. And because those timeouts are much longer in the NCAA tournament, that you have a chance to, just kind of get your wind back.
And then zooming out, obviously this season was a season of youth for the team. Can you talk about how much it means to see this group of sophomore starters and the team as a whole kind of evolve from where they were to start the season until now?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about a lot, just how much growth that we've seen in those sophomores. Especially like your Ashley and Olivia. I thought Olivia had a really great game defensively. She was awesome. And Fadima as well. And so yeah, I mean they're like Fadima said, this is gonna sting, but I think it can really, fuel them in the off season and in the the postseason, into the summer, into next fall. You can't simulate this kind of experience other than just going through what it's like to play on this stage, and really excited for the future. It's hard to think about that right now, as I care so deeply about our seniors, but they've left a just incredible legacy, and I think the young group is gonna just carry that on.
We go over to Zoom again for a question from Jen Hatfield.
Hey, Carla. Kind of just picking up on that last question, I wanted to ask you about Fadima specifically. Going from not playing at all in that West Virginia game last season to now leading the team in scoring tonight. How'd you see her meet that moment tonight and step up?
Yeah, Fadima is just she's tough. She's I think the beginning of the season, like a Portland game, you saw a young Fadima, young inexperienced Fadima to the end of the season here, and playing some of her best basketball of her career thus far, and just really proud of the work that she puts in, and I think she's going to be a tremendous player for us and leader, and looking forward to her future.
And then, you got almost all your points off turnovers and your offensive rebounds for the game in that second quarter run. What kind of got you away from those things that you were doing well there late in the first half?
Yeah, I think, I think they really pounded it inside to Crooks, and she was tough in there. We were trying to have some backside help. Sometimes it was there, and it's hard because they spread you out because they've got great shooters everywhere. Hindsight, probably should have doubled her more, but the way that she just her footwork and her ability to score if people are hanging on her is quite impressive. To us, like I said, I think just some breakdowns in transition, and their defense was tough in that third quarter. They got some steals, big steals, and turned into easy scoring opportunities. I think some of it balance had to do with us, and some of it had to do with them just playing really well.
Just one more for you. I know Audie had a great game, but Parker, also a double-double while defending her. How proud are you of how Parker played in her last college game?
Yeah, really, really proud of Parker, and just the season she's had, the career she's had. It's been a battle with injuries, and but to see her playing her best basketball during her senior year, just really, really proud of her. It's been fun to watch her journey and the journey of all of our seniors, and really, really proud of all of them, and Parker, definitely.
Thanks, Carla. Appreciate your time all year.
Yeah, thanks, Jen.
We'll stay on Zoom for a question from Rob Brown.
Rob Brown, Ivy Hoops Online. Thanks for taking the time, Coach. I guess defensively, what were they doing to Ashley in the third quarter that was so different and kind of neutralized her?
Yeah, I think they were just kind of all over her, chasing her, sometimes icing some ball screens with her, and just making it more difficult. I thought she had some good looks. I thought she had a good look at the rim one time, and they just didn't go down. But I think it was just they just turned it up defensively. I thought that number 2 Jackson was a tough defender and made it really difficult for Ash.
What were the conversations at halftime and then again, at the end of the third quarter?
Conversations at halftime. I mean, we put on the board, every time, no matter if we're up or down, that the score is 0-0, and that we need to come out of the locker room with a lot of energy, ready to go. Got to, stick with our defensive game plan and what we thought. We talked about what we thought was working offensively and what looks we want to get. And at the end of the third quarter and into the fourth quarter, same thing. Yeah, we were down by a few. Same thing. Need to get stops. Here's where we're looking for our opportunities to score. And yeah, I mean that's the NCAA tournament. You've got to be able to make shots. Every game you're playing against a really good opponent, and credit to my players. I thought that they, got some good shots that we just didn't knock down. But I thought they fought hard for the whole 40 minutes.
And last one for me. I know for a coach, every team is special. What makes this group so unique?
Yeah, I mean, just the people, the different personalities, to what they give every single day, and what they mean to the program, how they, how they represent our university and our program and our team and our staff. And yeah, it was a great mix of youth and senior leadership, and just a lot of fun watching them grow and mature. And I thought we had a lot of fun this year. That's why I do what I do, is getting to just be with them on a day-to-day basis. And you're right, every year is different, but this one was challenging, but also really, really rewarding. And I've got to remember that, because this one definitely stings. But when you think back, you're really grateful for the people that you get to surround yourself with.
Thanks so much for a great year, Coach.
Coach Berube, thank you so much for taking the time as well. Again, Hammond Communications will post a recording of his press conference in the NCAA Media Hub at ncaaveritone.com. And